I give a lot of tips on this channel about driving for DoorDash, but I want to take a step back. So in this video, I'm going to give you 15 tips specifically for new Dashers. If you're new here, my name is Mike, and this channel is dedicated to your success in the gig economy, your side hustle. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. I also want to invite you to our new Discord community that's linked down below in the description, as well as an invite to check out my Amazon storefront so you can get the very best accessories. So number one, as soon as you get onboarded, DoorDash is going to send you a welcome kit. That's going to include your red card whenever you place orders yourself, as well as a DoorDash hot and cold bag. Now, as soon as you're activated and able to do so, I would actually go to the DoorDash Dasher store. They actually have a store you can get some accessories. I would pick up another hot and cold bag, and specifically the DoorDash Dasher bag. It's only $8. They cover free shipping as well. And in my opinion, it's really going to help you stand out at restaurants because of that DoorDash branding. Number two, something that I definitely did when I was newer to DoorDash, or I guess in really any delivery platform, that is to not rush through your delivery. I remember times where I was thinking I was trying to squeeze in as many orders per hour that I could, or I didn't want the customer to think I was taking too long. So I would really be flustered rushing through that delivery, whether that be driving to the restaurant or actually waiting at the restaurant. That led to a lot of stress, and that led to mistakes, and or that can lead to spills. Things happen when you're rushed, right? You're not taking enough time. So know that just slow down a little bit. You're going to get a good amount of orders per hour anyway. You're going to make less mistakes, and ideally, you're not going to be as stressed. Number three, when driving for DoorDash, your entire marketplace is going to be broken up into different market segments. Now, my recommendation is to not sit in an unscheduled market segment, because there's two options when you drive for DoorDash. There's the Dash Now feature. If it's busy enough, you can go online immediately in your current zone. And the second option is scheduling shifts in one of those market segments. So let's say you're driving in a certain market segment, and then you finish an order which pulls you into a separate market segment. From my experience of over 1,300 completed deliveries, it's a lot harder to get another order if you're sitting outside of a scheduled zone versus sitting inside the scheduled zone. Now, it can happen, but in my experience, you want to drive back into the scheduled zone. I know it's not ideal, especially with miles, but just get inside that zone. Even if you just make it, it's going to give you a better opportunity to get an order. Number four, speaking of shifts and scheduling shifts in different market segments, in my opinion, when you first start from home. Don't schedule shifts in any other market segment other than the one that you're currently sitting in, because I want you to master the app first before really worrying about scheduling different segments and driving to those segments while you're still just getting used to the app. And it's easy, it minimizes miles. Just start from home, either do the Dash Now feature or schedule a shift in your current marketplace. Number five, very, very important. I don't hear this talked about a lot. That's the business side of this whole gig economy. That's taxes. Now, if you didn't know, you're an independent contractor versus a W-2 employee. So that means your taxes are not withheld from your earnings. So I recommend setting aside about 20 to 30% of your gross revenue for taxes. And then come tax time, these apps, they'll give you what's called a 1099 miscellaneous form that you'll include and obviously claim all of your earnings come tax time. Number six, important to note about your acceptance rating. I think a lot of new drivers may sweat the acceptance rating, so I pulled this directly from DoorDash's website. It says, as independent contractors, Dashers have the right to decline any delivery opportunity offered to them. However, by accepting an order for delivery, they are agreeing to complete that delivery. So what that's saying is you can decline any order request if it doesn't make sense to you numbers-wise. But after you do accept that request, it's obviously expected that you're going to complete that order. Now, you can't be deactivated based on a very low acceptance rating, really on any app in this gig economy. However, you can be deactivated for too high of a cancellation rate. Number seven, just knowing what's expected of you. Pizza bags, any kind of uniforms or branding, that's not mandatory when you're on these apps. Because I did mention that DoorDash store, kind of some swag in there, some different equipment, none of that is mandatory. And frankly, even the hot and cold bag is optional. Now, definitely use a hot and cold bag, but you don't really need to get anything else. Number 8, quick points about strategies. Number 1, don't drive around looking for orders. You want to park and wait. Number 2, look at what I call the dollars to mile ratio. How much you're getting paid out for how many miles you have to drive. $1 is a minimum, $2 is really where you want to be, and then $3 per mile is ideal. Because for tax purposes here in 2020 driving, the IRS lets you write off 57.5 cents per business mile driven. Number 9, just understanding how this app works, because once you look at it for the first time, you're not going to really know what to do. So like I mentioned, there's Dash Now, and then there's scheduling. So whenever you schedule those shifts, DoorDash is only going to give you requests in that scheduled market segment. It's the same thing with the Dash Now. DoorDash is a little bit different than Uber Eats or Postmates. Those apps, you can go online at any time and they'll give you any order that's nearby, regardless of where you're at in the market. Number 10, one of the biggest problems that you're gonna see when you're driving, it's the wait at the restaurant, but even more so than that, it's really accessibility to complexes or finding the customer. So when it comes to the wait, don't wait forever. If the restaurant says it's gonna be really more than 15 minutes, I would cancel that. Don't worry about the cancellation rate. And as far as the accessibility, finding the customer, accessing complexes and gate codes, obviously communication is big there. Text or call the customer as soon as you know you can't get in. Number 11, a big one that I think a lot of drivers don't really realize is a challenge until you get a few more deliveries under your belt. That's red card orders. So like I mentioned, in your welcome kit, you'll get this red card and then your hot and cold bag. So the red card is used on orders that you place yourself. So obviously you're gonna place the order first, you're gonna wait for it to be prepared, and then of course pick it up, which does vary greatly from a standard pickup. You just go in and say, hey, I got a DoorDash pickup for the customer. Now the app will tell you if it's a red card order. So I really want you to look at that restaurant. Typically these are fast food places. You need to think, okay, is it worth it? Is there usually a big line at the drive-thru? Because a lot of these will be through the drive-thru. And if you drive late night hours or bar hours, I would anticipate that those drive-thrus may be slammed and red card orders may not be worth it. Number 12, consider actually logging your data in kind of an Excel sheet, what have you, to really find out statistically where are the best areas in your marketplace and when are the best times to drive. Number 13, if you are going to schedule shifts, you can schedule shifts out 5 days in advance. That is unless you qualify for early access, then you can schedule 6 days in advance. Now to qualify for that extra day for early access, you have to have a customer rating of at least 4.6, a completion rate of at least 95%, and you have to have accepted and completed at least 5 deliveries between 12 a.m. the previous Friday and 11:59 p.m. the previous Tuesday. Number 14, this is a stacked order. It's 2 orders on 1 assignment to you as the driver. So my tip to maximize these stacked orders, because it's a great chance to earn more. If you get an initial request and you're basically sitting right next to the restaurant, give it a second. Well, actually 30 seconds to a minute. Give the app a chance to give you a stacked order. That's typically from a restaurant that's the same restaurant or one that's nearby. Number 15, I recommend setting a daily or weekly goal, because without one, you're kind of driving blind. You don't really know, okay, how much am I really making? Am I really hitting a number that I want to hit? Again, you're kind of driving with no purpose. And bonus tip number 16, make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And check out yourdrivermicah.com. There's courses and quick start guides to shorten this learning curve. That site launching soon. I definitely recommend taking advantage of that. If you got value in this video, definitely leave a like and click or tap the screen now for my most recent video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.